And so here's an important an important asterisk. It's just me. 13th step can be disastrous. Very careful. Now, plenty of people do it, so whatever. But for me, it ran the gamut from ho-hum to horrific. So the horrific was about 10 years ago. That was another opportunity for growth. And again, it was my perceptions. I had a perception of her. I've gone through all this shit, the ex-wife and then these other girls in the program, and I just kept thinking, well, if I could just get to the her, that'd be great. Well, I met a complete AA chick sociopath who became my her. And I had no idea. And so this was another big perception crusher of mine. I've thought for many, many years, and it wasn't just her, it was a few other people too, of course. But I thought for many, many years, if somebody's in AA and they're sober, and they gotta be awesome and honest, and yeah, they gotta be just great and everything like that. Not so true. Many of you have heard me talk about how AA is a volunteer mental institution. So it's very important when we're in these rooms to carry the message and support each other, but keep your expectations low and pay attention to what people do, not what they say. What we say is a bunch of hot air. What we do is who we are. Character and those principles are the actions we take. And so this was another opportunity where her and I are like Mr. and Mrs. AA Harley couple. I co-signed for a brand new Harley for her because she was just getting divorced. So her credit wasn't that great. We're blessed. I was at the time, we are blessed, credit and finance wise and all that. We can kind of do what we want. I could then. And so we got to get her a bike. So there we go. She's got a bike. And that lasted 3 months. She ran off with the bike. Complete meltdown. So that's gone. And I'm like, absolutely, I could barely function. I was devastated because I thought I had it. I finally, everything my higher power blessed me with everything I was looking for. This is great. Nope. Another opportunity for growth. What I learned then is, like I just said about mental illness in the program, watching what people do, because of course there were red flags. You know how we loved it. She had a great ass, so I didn't look at the red flags. You know how we do that. Julie's also my conscience. I'm kidding, of course, but the red flags were out there, and I blew right by them, just like we do, because I needed an opportunity for growth. And again, through that process, dove into some spirituality, some mental illness stuff. Tim actually told me about 2 terrific books, actually, that's right. And then I just, it really, in a nutshell, it all came down to just letting go of everything. Absolutely letting go of everything. Some of you have heard me talk about how we're responsible for the input, being honest, doing the next right thing, taking care of ourselves, and how that manifests with everybody else in the world ain't our problem. Not our problem. My responsibility is to show up at work on time, give XPO a fair shake for what they're paying me, go home and be nice to her and support her and all you people, and I'm not perfect by any stretch, but if I do those things and you people still hate my guts, I don't care, because my side of the street's clean. I did what I felt I should be doing. I was honest, supportive, taking care of myself, carrying the message. And if you all hate my guts, so be it. If you don't, bonus. And that's really our job. That's really it in a nutshell. I just really let go of everything. So now, life's awesome. I mean, so it's important to realize that life is still life no matter who you are. And we come here to sober up. There's a big difference between being dry and not drinking versus being sober. If you're sober, you're an adult. Simple. What's an adult? Those 12 principles over there is an adult. Jake talked about it last week. If you're an adult, you're not a victim. He hit it right on. He absolutely knocked it out of the park last week with that. Yeah, we come here to be an adult. So life now. So I heard a guy years and years ago. I'm gonna do the prop. So I heard a fella at Gopher State years ago. Most of the time I've been sober, I've been able to keep my ears open and listen and be willing to hear what God speaks to us through people, right? So maybe this speaker is saying something I need to hear, maybe not. I mean, now after 33 years, most speakers, I just, shut up, God, leave me alone. What the fuck, I heard this guy. The next time somebody comes in here with a guitar to speak, I'm going to shoot them. I'm going to shoot them. He's a great guy. Phil's giving me a dirty look. It's important to understand that's me too, though. After 33 years, speakers are just, oh, God, shut the fuck up. Anyway, so Tom Burns, right in the midst of me getting divorced, and I go for state, Tom Burns is up there, and he absolutely changed my life. And one thing, this kind of hit me the day after I got it. One thing he talked about was my AA, and he would relate a story from using versus now being sober. And one of them was, he grew up in New York, and he's a chronic alcoholic, sitting in a hallway, or his mom and dad's apartment hallway. And his mom comes out, and he's fucking homeless and drunk, and he's just a mess. And his mom comes out in the hallway, and, Tom, you're here. We haven't seen you in 2 months. Oh my God, you look horrible. Oh, Mom, I'm fine. Mom, I'm fine. Don't worry about me, and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes to being sober 20 years, 25 years. And he talks about how he sobered up. And he was a plumber. Then he starts a plumbing company. And people in the program help him out. People like Charlie and TC and all that help him out with this plumbing company and the legal stuff and getting it going and sales, and becomes successful enough to where he's in Florida golfing one time, and he buys his parents a house in Florida. Not a big house, of course, but something like what you guys were talking about, just a retirement thing, but still, buys her a house, buys the parents a house, and he goes home and he says, Mom, I got your house, all you need is your toothbrush. So I haven't done that yet, but here's AA. So when I was just talking at the beginning about how I'm a gearhead and cars and all that kind of stuff, and I thought about being a truck driver when I was a kid. Even looked into it a little bit because I love, again, I'm a gearhead, but I love trips. I love road trips. I love exploring. I mean, we just drove down to Arizona and I had a ball. I think you did too, or at least half the time. I don't know. But we went down to Arizona, went riding with Joe and Lisa, and dragged the bikes down. I bought a cargo trailer last summer. We loaded the bikes up and drove down to Arizona, and I love that shit. I love it. But started out driving a school bus right out of high school, and then the usual. And we're like this. We're absolutely like this. So I start out driving a school bus. I end up working in the shop full time, year round. But I ended up losing my license in that job. And so I got this at work 2 weeks ago, I think? 2-3 weeks ago. And I didn't even, my boss, what the hell's your ring size? Like 6 months ago. What's your ring size? See what my ring size? I don't know what my ring size is. Why would I know? Do you know what my ring size is? Nobody knows what my, yeah. So we figured that out, and he says, you got a safety award coming. I said, okay, I don't know. Safety award? I don't know. So 2 weeks ago on the morning meeting, he gives me and another guy safety award. So this is a 10-year safe driving award from XPO Logistics. And it's actually, we've had a lot of turmoil at our terminal, so it's really probably 13, 14 years that I've been driving a semi. I've been driving a semi for 22 years. Been working at XPO for 17 years, and I haven't had an accident. I felt terrible too. I only actually had one accident. I was at a job site downtown St. Paul at least 13, 14 years ago. And I was in a big hurry, and I finally get all done. I go driving out, and I snagged the front bumper cover on a little Dodge Coupe. Because there was an old retired person's condo right there. Guy was a retired Vietnam vet, Marine. Great guy, because of course he ripped the fucking bumper cover out. Well, I better find this guy. So I go find the guy, and he comes down, and he was a sweetheart. He didn't even care. He's, oh yeah, we'll get that fixed. That's no big deal. And then he's telling me stories. Great guy. That was the last accident I had. So a guy that couldn't keep a driver's license That's AA. That's us, if we do this a day at a time. Couldn't keep a driver's license. No, not even a thought of when I was, especially when I was using it, about doing a good job, really all that kind of stuff. And now here we are, 33 years later. I got this, it's a 10-year ring. It's kind of heavy, Robert. Yeah, it's kind of heavy. I'm surprised he spent that much, actually.
It's like a class ring.
But it's a lot more than I expected. But that's us. If we do this a day at a time with a sponsor, carry the message, take care of ourselves, stuff happens. Good stuff. Life is still life, but you can slug your way through the shit, and good stuff can happen. Yeah, I'll pass. That'll work.